Hello everyone, this is Colleen Lemma, starseed astrologer and spiritual messenger from sacredsoulempowerment.com. Here to do your weekly angel card reading for Monday, May 18th through Sunday, May 24th, 2020. For this week's weekly reading, we'll be using the Fairy Tarot deck by Radley Valentine for the main message for everyone. And your special message card this week, depending on your stone of choice, is going to be coming from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck by Colette Baron Reed. So let's take a moment and take a look at what your stones of choice are for this week. Your first stone of choice is carnelian. And carnelian is a stone that helps to restore vitality and motivation. It helps to stimulate creativity. It helps to promote positive life choices, and it helps to motivate for success. And of course, this relates to the sacral chakra, which is that chakra of creative self-expression and passion. Your second stone of choice is green aventurine. The green aventurine is a stone of creativity, imagination, independence, prosperity, career success, balance, perseverance, and healing, especially of the heart chakra area. So anything dealing with heart chakra, relationships, or emotional wounds, this would be something that helps to stimulate the rebalancing and healing of that. Then your last stone of choice here is golden amber. And the amber is a stone, it's a powerful healing stone. It helps to clear the mind, balance the emotions, helps to release negativity. In fact, it helps to protect from negative lower vibrational energies. It alleviates stress, brings in self-confidence, and helps with decision making. Of course, this relates to your solar plexus chakra, which is your center of personal power. All right, so let's talk about the astrology for the week. So we're moving into Gemini energy now. Pretty soon here, we're going to have the Sun moving into Gemini, joining Venus and Mercury, which is why I chose the Fairy Tarot deck this week, because whenever I think of Gemini, I think of the fairy realm. On the 20th of May, which is a Wednesday, the Sun is moving into Gemini, okay? And that's when we're going to have that full expression of Gemini energy because, again, Venus is already there. Mercury moved into Gemini last week. So now we have the Sun moving into Gemini. So there's more of a focus now, especially for the next month with the Sun in Gemini, with all forms of communication, speaking, teaching, writing, researching information, sharing information, networking with other people. A lot of thoughts, a lot of ideas kind of come in with that Gemini energy. The only thing with Gemini energy is it can be a little scattered, a little chaotic. It's a mutable sign, which means there's not a lot of focus, there's not a lot of depth, there's not a lot of grounding energy here. So there's a lot of ideas, but sometimes they zigzag all over the place and they jump from one thing to another. And the fact that we have two other planets now in Gemini, you might find that that's really the case, to where, again, there's a lot of creative, intellectual mind activity going on, but it's a little hard or more difficult to focus. Now, also on Wednesday the 20th, Venus, which is again in Gemini, but she's retrograde. She just went retrograde last week. In fact, we had a bunch of planets going retrograde last week. If you watched last week's weekly reading, we already had Pluto retrograde, and then last week Saturn went retrograde, Venus went retrograde, and Jupiter went retrograde. So that's a lot of retrograde planets that we have right now. Venus rules love and relationships, money and finances, our values, our sense of self-worth. As she's retrograde, she's turning those energies of what it is that she rules inward, so that she's more focused on an inner journey of her sense of self-worth. She's focused on the inner thoughts and ideas that she holds and has about relationships, because again, she's in Gemini. There's going to be a lot more communication that's needed while Venus is retrograde in Gemini. Communication with significant others. Now, this could be friendships, this could be romantic partners, this could even be business partners, because Venus rules all kinds of, relationships. But again, communication is going to be needed, and especially on Wednesday the 20th, Venus in Gemini retrograde is going to be in a challenging square connection to Neptune. Now, Neptune is the planet of spirituality. Neptune rules the spiritual realm, but Neptune also rules illusion, confusion, and delusion. So again, Neptune's not very grounded by itself. And then Neptune, of course, right now is in Pisces, which is a mutable, changeable sign. Venus is in Gemini, a mutable, changeable sign. So there might be a lot of lack of clarity regarding our relationships now. There might be lack of clarity regarding money situations right now. There might be lack of clarity regarding what we value in our life or how we value ourselves within different situations in our lives. All of this is made up by this Venus challenging Neptune. Now, this is the second time that Venus is challenging or squaring Neptune. It already happened once when she was moving in a forward direction. Now she's in a retrograde direction and comes together with Neptune in that challenging square aspect once again. And then later on, a few weeks down the road, as she turns back to direct motion in Gemini, she'll, for the third time, connect in this way with Neptune. So she's trying to gain some sort of clarity, and which is very difficult because she's in Gemini, but she's also looking at all the possibilities and all of her options. That's what Gemini is great for. Gemini can look at the pros and cons. It can look at all aspects of the situation, a little bit like Libra. They're both air signs. Gemini's a little bit less focused about it, though. Whereas Libra can maybe look at the pros and cons and really kind of, get a good understanding of what decision to finally make. Gemini still vacillates. Gemini's still all over the place. But looking at all these possibilities, all these potentials, all these probabilities that could happen, and again, with Venus and Gemini, this is occurring within money and finances as well as in different types of relationships, and then the connection to Neptune makes it a little bit even more confusing. So it's trying to sort all of these energies out. Now on Friday the 22nd, Mercury, which as I said went into Gemini last week, is now connecting with Venus retrograde in Gemini. So again, this brings up more communication or more thoughts and ideas regarding what we think about relationships, what we think about finances, but I feel like new ideas on how to maybe make money or bring in financial stability, new ideas on how to make the relationship better, which then needs to be communicated to the partner, whoever that person or partner is in our lives, again, whether it's business, friendship, family, or romantic. There's going to be a lot of messages, a lot of communications, maybe a lot of networking occurring surrounding relationships and money and finances. Also on Friday the 22nd, the Sun in Gemini is in a positive connection to Saturn, who is retrograde, and Saturn retrograde is in the sign of Aquarius, which is another air sign. So again, we have more air, more ideas, more communication, more thoughts, more inspirational kinds of, information being sought. But Saturn can have a little bit more of a focusing effect. So with all this Gemini scattered energy that's happening, that changeable, mutable Gemini energy, Saturn, even though it's in Aquarius, can still have a little bit of more of a focus or grounding effect to it. So on Friday, that's a good time. If you have to make a decision, it might be a good time to make a decision, to have a little bit more clarity, to have a little bit more focus on how to carry out your ideas, and to kind of bring some sort of manifestation into the mix of what it is that you're doing. If you're working on a career kind of aspect or kind of a goal-oriented project, and probably with other people, with all this Gemini energy, there's probably collaboration going on. Maybe you're emailing, texting, talking on the phone with other people in regards to all these ideas and thoughts that you have going around in your head. And again, Saturn retrograde there in Aquarius can maybe help to provide a little bit of focus for a short amount of time. But also on Friday, there's a lot happening on Friday. Mercury, not only is it connecting with Venus, which we already talked about, but Mercury is also connecting with Neptune in a challenging square aspect. Just like Venus did on Wednesday, Mercury is now taking his turn on Friday, connecting with Neptune. And with that square to Neptune, again, it brings in this lack of clarity, this lack of focused understanding, and especially because Mercury rules not only our thoughts and ideas, but rules communications. It's very important to reiterate what it is that you're saying to somebody, or have them reiterate to you what they're saying in order to gain clarity and understanding of what exactly is being said here. Because, you know, as Mercury is in mutable, changeable Gemini and Neptune is in mutable, changeable Pisces, there can be a lot of misunderstandings. Now, it's great for visualization, it's great for meditation, it's great for creative writing, it's great for envisioning, it's great for like troubleshooting and just talking about ideas with people and just really letting your imagination flow. That's what it's going to be really good at. But if you need to remember some of these ideas or thoughts, then you need to have another person, or one of you needs to be able to focus enough to be able to write them down. And again, that connection with the Sun and Saturn might give you that ability to do so. And then on Sunday, the 24th, Mercury in Gemini, there's a lot going on with Mercury this week. Mercury in Gemini is in a connection to Pluto. It's called an inconjunct or a quincunx aspect to Pluto, which is an aspect of adjustment, meaning that the elements that these two planets are in are not compatible. Mercury is in Gemini, Gemini's air. Pluto's in Capricorn, Capricorn is earth. Air and earth are not compatible elements. So there needs to be adjustments with the way we're thinking and perceiving in order to have the greatest depth of understanding, which is that Pluto energy. Pluto wants to understand things deeply or research things deeply. It wants to transform. It wants to go through this transformative death and rebirth kind of experience. Pluto is also the planet of power. So with Mercury and Gemini, we also need to adjust the way we're thinking and communicating in order to take back our power or own our power and use it wisely and own it wisely. But also, again, just the depth of understanding, since Mercury in Gemini is more surface and more changeable and more, again, kind of on a more superficial, if you want to call it, level. Pluto wants to go deep. So there may need to be some adjustments on Sunday in order to allow some of what you're perceiving or thinking about or talking about to really dig down deep to understand on a deeper, more intense and esoteric level, and allow things again to undergo this wonderful process of transformation and death and rebirth. Now also on Sunday, there's also a sextile aspect here between Mars and Uranus. Mars is the warrior planet. He's a fire planet, but now he's in a water sign. He's in Pisces. He just went into Pisces last week. That's watering down his forward movement a little bit. It's watering down his potential to kind of go full steam ahead, which he doesn't really like. The one thing that I can say about Mars in a spiritual Pisces is that it's now the spiritual warrior. So if you can focus your energies as the spiritual warrior while Mars is in Pisces, that's great. Now, Mars in Pisces is in a sextile aspect to Uranus in Taurus. A sextile aspect is an aspect of opportunity. It's a positive aspect to where opportunities may present themselves, but if we're not paying attention and we're not aware of what that opportunity is when it comes up, then that opportunity may pass us by. So we have to recognize the opportunity, and then we need to take action on it. And Mars in Pisces could certainly miss the opportunity. So be aware. Now Uranus is going to bring something in quickly, suddenly, unusually, in a sudden, in maybe a sudden and direct and unexpected way. And it might have something to do with money and finances, because that's where Uranus is right now, is in Taurus. So this could be, again, an opportunity of a new way to make money, or an opportunity to create different income, or an opportunity to move forward in a inspirational way by listening to the new ideas that are coming forth, because Uranus rules kind of the God mind energy and a higher awareness of universal information that's being downloaded to us. So there's all kinds of potentials here, but it's just a thing where you need to pay attention. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the messages from our angels and guides from the fairies. Turn it over, and you can see that many cards kind of fell out and came out of the deck when I was shuffling, because we have 5 cards instead of 3. But the first card here is the Prince of Summer. Now this is kind of interesting, because this is like the Prince of Cups or the Knight of Cups in the traditional tarot. And usually, you know, this signifies water, and we don't have any water planets right now, except for Neptune. Neptune's in water sign Pisces. But let's go ahead and read what it says. It says, Prince of Summer, romantic, captivating, dramatic, flirtatious. Okay, well, Gemini energy can certainly be flirtatious. At the bottom it says, falling in love suddenly. Okay, being swept off your feet. The need to stay grounded during a very emotional experience. Okay, so there's a couple of keywords that come out there in the description of this card that does relate to some of this Gemini energy that we're experiencing. The falling in love suddenly. Now, I guess I should have mentioned that with Venus being the planet of love and relationships, and in a challenging aspect to Neptune, sometimes we can see through rose-colored glasses, and sometimes it's an aspect with Venus and Neptune, whether it's a conjunction, a square, a trine, an opposition. All of these aspects point to the possibility of meeting somebody new and like falling in love, falling head over heels. This, Neptune kind of has this illusionary, romantic, fantasy-like kind of energy to it. And Venus, of course, is about love and relationships. And so that is part of that. Now with the square, with the challenging aspect, we really have to be careful of wearing rose-colored glasses and being able to see the person for who they really are. Sometimes a Venus-Neptune aspect wants to put somebody on a pedestal, and it's not bad to want to put somebody on a pedestal and see all the good, wonderful things about them and feel a romantic, fantasy-like kind of unconditional love and compassion for the person. But if it's something where you're going to maybe get into a relationship with somebody that's long-lasting, or you're going to commit to something with somebody, you want to make sure that what you're seeing is clear. You want to make sure that you're seeing clearly the situation, you're seeing the person and their personality clearly, and sometimes that means waiting until that aspect between Venus and Neptune passes to be able to have a little bit more clarity. And right now there seems to be, with Venus and Neptune, and then later on Friday, Mercury, the planet of thoughts and ideas, connecting with Neptune. There's a real lack of clarity here. So again, it says falling in love suddenly, being swept off your feet. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean only with a romantic partner. This can be being swept away by new ideas, new thoughts, new ways of doing things, something new that you want to pursue. All this Gemini energy is bringing in lots of new creative ideas. So it might be easy to be swept away with what is going on with that. And again, that's not bad or negative in and of itself. The only thing I would say is that if you're going to be, let's say, going into a business partnership with somebody or working with somebody, you want to make sure that the energy is grounded and focused enough, and that there's boundaries, and that there's understanding of who has what role, what role is everybody going to play. And it's okay to be swept away by how wonderful the ideas are and how great the communication with other people is and how everything seems to be unfolding. It just wouldn't be great to have an illusion or confusion or lack of boundaries or lack of clarity with other people in regards to this. And then it says the need to stay grounded during a very emotional experience. Okay, so that kind of speaks for itself. We just, we need to find a way to stay grounded with all of this Gemini energy. And a great way to do that, especially again, since Gemini rules the fairy realm, is to be out in nature. Be out in nature, smell the flowers, hug a tree, talk to the fairies, walk barefoot on the earth. Gemini likes to be out in nature, and nature is very grounding. So it might be very helpful to ground in that way, or whatever else works for you. If taking a nice relaxing bath helps to ground you, if eating some good comfort food grounds you, whatever it is that might help, it would be important to stay grounded. So let's take a look at the second card that came out with this card. See if we have more additional information here. Okay, we have the Two of Summer. So we have another summer card, which again is another water card. This is like the Two of Cups, which is about relationships again. So it goes perfectly with the Prince of Summer, which, by the way, I forgot to say that the Prince is like the knight in the traditional tarot. And the knight is a very romantic individual. The Knight of Cups in the traditional tarot is like the knight in shining armor that comes to sweep you off your feet. So again, whether that's a literal person or whether that's an idea or an energy, know that that knight is coming in, and with a very romantic, fantasy-like kind of energy about him to sweep you off your feet. Now, the Two of Summer, again, is an indication to where there might be relationship stuff going on here. It says at the bottom, falling in love or making a serious commitment to someone, forgiveness, and the resolution of a problem. Don't give up. Your relationship can be healed. Well, this is so Venus retrograde right now. You know, Venus ruling relationships and partnerships, it being retrograde. Again, not just romantic partnerships, but it could be business or friendships or anything else. But with Venus retrograde, there's something to be worked out. You know, when a planet goes retrograde, we need to go within and work something out. And with Venus being retrograde, this is saying that our relationships, our connections with other people, if there's been challenges, if there's been disagreements, if there's been frustrations, don't give up on the other person. Go within and understand the part that you play. Go within and look at your own thoughts and belief systems and what you might be projecting onto the other person. And also, because it's in Gemini, definitely sit down and communicate with the person. Now, it might take a few times of sitting down and communicating, especially with, you know, all this Gemini energy that can vacillate all over the place, and with, especially this week, with the Neptune influence with both Venus and Mercury. So we might need to have more than one conversation to gain clarity. But this is saying that our bonds with each other run deep. You know, make a commitment to the friendship, make a commitment to that family member, make a commitment to your romantic partner, and yes, even perhaps to your business partner. And sit down and have a clarifying communication or two or three or four with them until things are sorted out, until things are worked out. And if there is any challenges or misunderstandings going on, it might be through the whole Venus retrograde that we have to work on these. That's why she's retrograde right now, so we can work on some of this stuff. And again, communication is the key because she's in Gemini. All right, let's take a look at the next card here. Ooh, the Star card, Major Arcana 17. Love this card because this is about our hopes, dreams, and wishes being worked on and coming true eventually. Now, the message at the bottom of this says, look to the future with hope and optimism. The power of faith to move mountains. Happy changes that bring relief from challenging times. Well, we definitely as a planet and as a collective have been through challenging times, and still, as of the recording of this week's video, we're still kind of in it, although starting to maybe see the light of starting to come out of it, places starting to reopen. I don't know, you know, if it's too soon or what, you know, we all might have different opinions about that. But the fact of the matter is that whatever it is that we've been through, both personally and as a collective, the Star card here is saying to kind of look to the future. Think about what your goals and your dreams and your visions for the future are, because those dreams, those hopes can become a reality with you having faith, with you staying on course, with you being uplifted, you know, looking to the stars, reaching for the highest ability to attain those hopes and dreams and wishes. You know, whenever I think about the Star card, I envision someone as this fairy is here. The fairy is looking up to the heavens, looking up to the stars, and she's not going to compromise what she wants. She's not going to compromise what she's dreaming for in her future. She, you know, wants to create and manifest something wonderful, something hopeful, something that, you know, brings security or prosperity or abundance or happiness or joy. And this is saying that that can be attained. So focus on what it is that you desire. Focus on the small steps to get there. Know that it's coming. It's coming in the future. And as a collective, I feel like, you know, whatever we're all going through here, as a planet, as a world, as a collective, as a humanity, with the COVID virus, that it's changing things on levels, let's just say that, on levels where things need to be changed. There's things shifting, there's things changing, you know, we're becoming more aware of ways to reorganize the structures, the institutions, the organizations in our lives so things can flow in a better way. Now, it might take a little bit of time to sort things out and to move through that, but this is saying that there's hope ahead. So let's see what came out with the Star card, see what goes along with that. Okay, we have the Prince of Spring. So it's interesting. This is the second prince that has come up. We had the Prince of Summer to start with, and now we have the Prince of Spring. And again, this is like the Knight of Wands in the traditional tarot. Now, where the Knight of Water, the first card that came out, is very romantic and, fantasy-like and loving and compassionate, the Knight of Spring is very inspirational, very energetic, very creative, because this is the fire suit. Charming, self-confident, passionate, and restless. The Knight of Spring, the Knight of Fire, the Knight of Wands is probably, as far as the court cards go, probably the fastest moving, the most inspirational, the most energetic and filled with life and vitality. And the message at the bottom says, immediate action, a challenge you can successfully manage, and a passionate relationship. So yes, in speaking about relationship stuff and Venus being retrograde, this could be about somebody coming in to sweep you off your feet. And he's fast and he's quick and he doesn't want to take no for an answer and he doesn't want to wait. So know that if it is about a relationship, a possible romantic connection, this Knight is very quick to action and wants to move fast. Now, if we're talking just about an energy, and it's going with the Star card about our hopes and our dreams and wishes, this is telling me that there's a lot of energy about. There's a lot of energy about this Prince of Spring, or the Knight of Wands, is taking action on this. There's a lot happening. He's galloping forward. He's moving forward. And we do have a lot of that Gemini energy. And although Gemini energy is an air sign, and this is a fire card, it's still, to me, it's that fast, fast ideas, quick wit, a lot of communications, a lot of networking, a lot of, thoughts and information kind of floating out there in the ethers. And this Knight, this Prince, wants to take action on it, take action now. So a challenge that you can successfully manage. This can be that Mercury square Neptune, perhaps, whatever that's about. We're going to be able to move through that, manage that okay, the miscommunication, the misunderstanding. Maybe this is about Mercury in an inconjunct or quincunx to Pluto, to where we have to really look at things from a different perspective, see things from a different vantage point, look a little bit deeper. Now, this Prince of Spring doesn't really want to look deep. He just wants to go full steam ahead, okay? So to me, this is taking some quick action on some ideas that we have. All that Gemini energy, thoughts, ideas, new opportunities can come in with Gemini, how to move forward, and sometimes we just have to move very quickly and jump on something. And this Prince of Spring says to go ahead and take action and jump on something, okay? Don't miss the boat. Let's take a look at the last card here. Last card, ooh, another major arcana number 12. In this deck, it's called Awakening. In the traditional tarot, this is the Hanged Man. And you can see that in this Awakening card, this fairy is hung upside down by a yin-yang symbol. And the yin-yang is about the balance of the masculine and the feminine, balancing the take action, independent, strong, courageous, confident, masculine side, and balancing that with the nurturing, receptive, allowing, going with the flow, intuiting, feminine side. Now the message at the bottom says, change the way you're looking at the situation. Embrace your uniqueness. A temporary pause in the action. I guess this to me is the end of the week on Sunday, where Mercury is connecting with Pluto. A temporary pause in the action. To me, that Mercury in Gemini, which is very quick thinking, and quick with ideas and quick with communication, is needing to kind of just slow down and look a little bit more deeply with that connection to Pluto. Look at things from a deeper perspective. What's really going on with all of these, communications, with all of the ideas and thoughts that I have swirling around in my head? Take a look at this in a little bit deeper, because it's going to awaken something within you, just like the card says, awakening. We're awakening a sense of empowerment. We're awakening a sense of ability to move forward, like the Star card, towards our hopes, dreams, and wishes. We're awakening an aspect within our souls that is growing and evolving as a result of everything that we have been through both personally and as a collective. So there's definitely something happening here. And you can see that with the hangman, with the fairy here hanging upside down, his crown chakra is all lit up. So he's kind of at a still point, in a meditative point, in a contemplative point. And again, even though he's following the Prince of Spring who wants to take lots of action, and I would say maybe the middle of the week, like somewhere between Wednesday and Friday, we're taking a lot of action. But as we get to Saturday and Sunday, maybe we're slowing down a little bit to contemplate some of the decisions we've made, some of the ideas we had, some of the communications that we've been involved in. We're starting to contemplate a little bit more deeply what it all means and awakening a higher perspective of everything. Okay, very good reading though. Very good reading. Let's take a look at what your special message card is depending on your stone of choice. Just taking a deep breath here. Okay, so let's give a little shuffle, and we're looking for special message card for carnelian. People that chose the carnelian. Carnelian. Special message for carnelian. Okay, as I opened my eyes, this one popped out at me. So carnelian people. Chop wood. Oh gosh, I remember when I got this in a previous weekly reading and I said, I don't know what this means. And a few of you had to write into me on my YouTube channel and tell me that there was something about like when, I'm going to definitely paraphrase and probably really not get it right, but something like when things get really busy and what do I do and all these decisions and what do I, which way do I go? The old proverb of something like, chop wood and carry water or something like that comes into play. So when you all told me that a few weeks or months ago, whenever this came up before, this almost has the meaning of, you know what, you need to just kind of slow down for a minute. If things get a little too hairy, things get a little too unfocused, a little too confusing, stick to the basics. The basics are carry water, chop wood, take care of your day-to-day needs until things kind of sort themselves out. So that's kind of the meaning I get from that. The chop wood is to kind of just take a little bit of a break. If you can't make the decision, if there's too much information, you're feeling too overwhelmed, or again, there's elusive communication or lack of clarity or lack of focus or feeling grounded yourself. It's like, just take care of your basic needs. Just take care of yourself right now and do something that helps you to ground your energies, because to me, chopping wood would really ground your energies. Okay, it's a physical task. You're dealing with earth energy. The wood is earth energy. You're doing something physical to get rid of extra kind of mental or static energy that's within your body. So do something that helps you to ground and worry about sorting it all out when things feel better, when you feel like you can be more focused and grounded. That's what I get out of that. So if any of you have a different interpretation, let me know. Okay, so for those of you that chose the green aventurine, special message for green aventurine. I opened my eyes and this one was standing out. Truth be told, love this card with the owl. Truth be told. So there's something about speaking your truth, needing to speak your truth, and Gemini, sometimes Gemini can vacillate between its various truths, and especially with it connecting to Neptune, might not even know what its truth is. So this to me is trying to sort out what your truth is and then speaking it, whether it be to yourself or whether it be to other people. And, just the fact that we have all these, I don't even know what these are, if they're little petals of flowers or if they're little butterflies, I don't know, around this owl. But again, it makes me feel that scattered energy in this case, the scattered energy of Mercury and Gemini. So I really feel like we have to really tune into what is our individual truth, because other people and their thoughts and their ideas and what they're communicating to us may be giving us their truth or what they think and believe to be. And we shouldn't be necessarily swayed by that. And it's not necessarily that they're trying to sway us, but sometimes there can be some confusion as to what is my truth? What do I want for myself, my life, my path, my career, whatever it might be. And so the owl says to go within and look for your own inner wisdom. Connect to your own higher soul self for the inner messages, because your inner guide, your inner wisdom has those answers. So I feel like we need to try to still our mind, which can be a little difficult with all the Gemini energy. So the best way I would say to do that is take a little walk out in nature. If you can get out somewhere where you can take a hike down a nature path, or even if it's around your neighborhood or around your house, that connection with nature can help us to get in touch with our inner self, our inner guide, or if you want to call it our higher soul self, to bring forth the wisdom so that we know what our truth is, and again, speak it to other people. All right, let's take a look at the special message card for the people that chose the amber. Amber people. Special message for amber. Okay, this one popped out as soon as I opened my eyes. Blessed. I've had this card before too. It's a beautiful card. And so we see this beautiful fairy. And, you know, these are not fairy cards, but there is this theme of fairy here in this one. There's a fairy that's riding in some sort of a magical vehicle of some sort. And she's feeling very blessed. She's got stars around her. This likens to the star card that we got earlier. So I feel like you're needing to focus on what your hopes, dreams, and wishes are. You need to focus on the fact that universal God source energy is all around you, that magical energy of the universe helping you to bring forth and manifest the blessings that you seek. It almost appears that she's in a stance, like a meditative stance. She's got her hands folded in kind of a prayer mode. She's sitting up very straight. So to me, the blessings are going to come forth through the stillness. In the stillness, in the silence, in the allowing, in the being receptive, in the trusting and having faith, that's when these feelings of feeling blessed are going to come in. This is when the blessings will start to come in. Magical things will start to happen if you just trust and have faith and you stay in a balanced, centered state of awareness. So focus on, what are you grateful for right now? What are you blessed to have in your life, or who are you blessed to have in your life? You know, what blessings are all around you during this time and through the situation that we've, been in, and that you've been in recently. This is master number 22. I haven't looked necessarily at all the numbers of the other cards, but it drew my attention, of course, because it's a master number. So this is about balance, harmony, relationship, equality, but also about manifestation. And it's usually through collaboration with others and being on the same page as others. Manifestation takes place, whether it's manifestation of security in a relationship or manifestation of finances in a project. It's going to be through some sort of equal collaboration. All right, I hope everyone has liked and enjoyed this weekly angel card reading. If you haven't already watched the monthly angel card reading, by all means do so. We're in the second half of the month, so you might want to go on and watch the monthly angel card reading for the month of May. Thank you to all of those who have visited my website recently. I am in the process of making changes to my website. Not anything dramatic other than I'm working on the products page or the shop page. So some of you that have been waiting a very long time, I know, for me to get that done. Working on the special intention pendants, the sprays, the elixirs, and maybe a few new products that will be coming out, but also a new way to be able to reach them. And on the product page, there's going to be classes and workshops and lectures that I will be doing, recording, and that will also be available in the next few weeks to few months to come. So stay tuned. Thank you all for your support, your love, your light. I send it all right back to you, sending you many, many angel blessings.